Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fourth and final game of the day, the eighth match of Stage 1 of the PUBG Europe League Contenders Phase 3 Promotional Series. My name is Esquire, joined here by Imperium to bring it home for the final map of the day. Back to the desert is where we are going to be landing.
Yeah, and we are getting close to the middle part of Stage 2. There's been a few shifts in the leaderboard with Enviik. After 2 chicken dinners today, they've taken the top of the table with 64 points, with 3D Max holding on to second place and MJ-Esports in third. But of course, hey, look, the leaderboard can change as we get further on through. What is important is the points differential is powerful in 8th place. Is holding on to it with 36 points, but there is a decent points difference with Istanbul in 7th on 45 points. So that's something that we are going to keep an eye on and have a look out for. But game 4 today, we see these teams dropping out. Let's see where this first circle is going to end up, Esquire, and where these teams will have to look to relocate to moving on forward in this game.
Yeah, plain path coming out of that northwestern corner of the map, taking a very fair angle down towards the southeast. Phase number 1, about 3 seconds away from popping and giving us an indication of where we're going. We'll back up to the north. Imperium, at the start of the day, you asked, could the circle go any more north? Well, it seems like it went about 50 meters further north than the first phase of game number 1.
For answering my question.
Yeah.
Either way.
Question, yeah, I guess, or wish. Whichever way you look at it, some teams hate you right now. Some teams love you, Imperium. But regardless, these teams are going to have to combat against this northern circle to find themselves victorious here at the end of day number 2 of Stage 1 of this promotional series. 3D Max, a team that sits in second place currently on the leaderboards, will be trying to keep that consistency up so that they don't have to worry about falling out of that top 8 position. But some teams to look at going into these games: Tarlans, Powerful, Istanbul Wildcats, even Airwaves in 11th place position. These are all teams that we've seen do some big things, but they've really fallen short at times when it really mattered.
And that's the thing, because, you know, any team that gets between first and third can get up to between 10 to 20 points. You get that good result for 1 or 2 games in a row, and you'll find yourself suddenly going from, 10th place to 5th place. Typical example is Elgiganten. They started today in 14th place. They're now in 6th.
Yeah.
After 2 solid games. So that's the difference maker. And there's only 8 more games after this game where these teams can make that kind of impact.
Exactly, yeah. To make it end when it's a top 8 type of promotion/relegation just for the first stage, it really comes down to a point grab. Even if you're coming out of these games with maybe 3 or 4 points, over the course of 16 games, those points add up. If you can combo that, well, you kind of have to combo that with 1 big win, 1 or 2 big wins, you can all but rest assured that you will likely be in those top 8 positions. But as it stands right now, almost going in to the halfway point of stage number 1, only a few teams can kind of sit comfortably. But even then, based off of the performances that we've seen, 20-plus point games, no one's really safe here just yet.
No, and that's the thing. And just touching upon what I kind of said, going into today's games, like 3D Max, who were in first place, they had an average points per match of about 11.75. Of course, that's going to dip the more games these teams play, but that's what I was talking about. If you can get the average of about 10 to 20 points per game, even if you're in the lower standings after 1 day, you will quickly find yourself climbing up. But why not? They want a good game. The first 2 games of today, they've kind of faced pressure by losing a couple of members early on, and I want to see what they can do as a 4-man squad in the late stages of these games, because I really like the potential they have, but we are losing potentially. What the hell? How did Mini not go down?
Well, sometimes you hit the shots and sometimes you miss the shots. Nella's going to be regretting that decision right there. One more will do it, and Savage going to be finding the AKM spray. Nella's swapping over to the SLR to find the flush. The first blood here of game number 4 of the day, game number 8 of the stage, will be going the likes of Elgiganten Gaming. MJ-Esports now going to be playing not too severely off of a back foot, but definitely going to need a small but sure strategical change going into the middle part of this game.
Well, the good thing for them is that they do have zone for now. So in my opinion, they don't want to move too far, because obviously when you move too much as a 3-man squad, you do face getting flushed out by a 4-man squad. But they'll look to occupy the top of that hill, maybe where SEEKORG are. So they've got to be careful. But Elgiganten, they've kind of spotted them out as ToxicPlayers. We're getting some early game action potentially between these teams in this last game of the day, Esquire.
And that's something that you can almost expect when you have circles like this. These polarized circles where teams are not necessarily, well, I'm not going to say teams. I'm going to say at least a few teams aren't necessarily comfortable playing off of these positions that they could find themselves rotating to in the early stages of phase number 1. Blue Zone working its way in as a hail of gunfire will be coming out of the guns of YMCA Esports onto the likes of the Istanbul Wildcats. Tags come out, one going to be going down and out, and with no teammates around to help him, he will likely be flushed out of the game. Levin going to be trying to make that last-ditch effort to try to drive that Murado, maybe that Bronco actually off in the distance. I believe it's a Bronco. Slippy Circuit, though, coming in for the flank, trying to find the shots out of the members of YMCA, and is going to be able to do so. Coyote going down, and the grenades start to rain down on top of their location. Will they be able to find the mark? That's the ultimate question. One comes in, not able to find it. Sakura finds another drop onto Levin. 2 down for Istanbul Wildcats as YMCA tries to recover off of this. They've got 3 up, but they're in a very split up situation as Sakura goes for the ultimate flank. Is going to be connected on headshot in the vehicle by Slippy Zerg. That's a good shot to hit.
Like, Istanbul Wildcats just playing so much better in that engagement compared to YMCA. Slippy Zerg was absolutely perfectionist with that knockdown and then followed up with 3 or 4 grenades. That's exactly what you need to do because they know they're going to look for the revive. Ooh. So a grenade is so obviously done, and they've done the exact same thing.
Finds the flush. Sampula going to be the only member of this YMCA squad alive in this area. Has no support to come in from Sakura just yet, but they have been able to find the kill and the flush onto Slippy Zerg.
Yeah.
Just going to be one left on their feet for the members of the Istanbul Wildcats. And this is what I was talking about, Imperium. They're a team that sits in the middle pack, 7th place position going into this game, on the cusp of not making it into the top 8 positions. If this is how their performance keeps up, we need to see some better consistency.
Yeah, we do, especially because of the fact that they already played contenders in phase 2, and they didn't make it through to the finals. But, you know, so they've sniffed it. They know that they can get there, right? They've just got to really play these games a bit more conservatively. They finished in 2nd place in game 3, but they only got 10 points. So that's something that which, when I say only, that's not a bad thing, but they've got to follow it up with another solid result. He's going in for the 1v2.
Certainly an interesting call.
That's, yeah,
this is a full commit right now. He knows he's facing off against a very hurt YMCA Esports squad, but a 2v1 scenario, especially when there are 56 players alive in the game, is not necessarily the bite that you want to be trying to chew here. And after not seeing anyone, you want to see this member of the Istanbul Wildcats disengage and pull off entirely. Powerful rather, will be sitting atop the hillside, having one of the high ground positions in this area. The opportunity to possibly spot out Elgiganten out in the distance, as well as the members of ToxicPlayers just off 100 meters away.
That's it. That's Istanbul Wildcats eliminated in last place. I know, to be honest, what more can you say other than just oof? But we are going to see this next circle shift. And my God, Esquire, what a shift down south from that deep north down to the south between San Martin and Le Cabrieri. Of course, MJ-Esports, 4 Kings, Elgiganten, Toxic, and of course, Futbolist all occupy good areas within the center of that circle.
Yeah, pretty much. If we would have had a more southwestern hard shift, El Pozo could even still be in play. Then we'd really be having a case of deja vu. 4 still alive here for Team Elite, still in 16th place position. The only team currently here in this lobby not able to breach into the double-digit points accumulated so far in the 8th in the final game of the day. Shots come out, though. Why not? Going to be going down and out to the AKM of Dead. Abdallah going to be coming in here for another down onto Anana Senpai. 2 down for Why Not. 2 remain versus 4 up for Team Elite. Make that now 3 is Corges able to find the return frag with the Scar onto Dead.
Okay, so it's this trade for trade between Why Not and Team Elite. Both teams do need a good result. I said I wanted to see why not get to late game with a 4-man squad. They're not making it easy for themselves. We're seeing great peaks coming out from XHR to knock down Abdallah.
Huge solo player effort coming out from Why Not. I believe just going to be a solo player on Team Elite as well. Maybe no, going to be 2 alive. As Mr. Iwata tries to wrap around the corner. The first aid going to be deployed here for XHR to try to reset that HP, facing off against Pobax and Mr. Iwata. Oh, and that's going to be 3 alive now. The res comes in. Dead going to be back on their feet, and they're going to be going for the res on Abdallah. If Team Elite keeps all 4 alive here, Imperium, this could be absolutely huge, but this window of opportunity does open up a res attempt onto Anana Senpai from XHR.
No, Mr. Iwata, what are you doing? You're on your own. You're going to go up against a 2v1 if you're not careful. However, great play, great spot out to get that knockdown onto Anana Senpai, so it becomes a 1v1 situation, and that's Why Not eliminated in 15th place. I wasn't sure if that was going to work out for Iwata, but it did. Great job by him.
Another team kind of sitting around that middle pack of the lobby needed to have a good performance here to go into day number 3 tomorrow, but is not going to be able to do so. Another team drops, leaving us with 14 remaining, 50 players alive. Toxic Esports still up on top of the hillside. However, the members of SEEKORG have approached, and Philu will be spotting out at least one of his opponents. I believe that's going to be Happy, who took a bit of damage there, dropped down to about 80% HP.
Yes, CRIPS E-Sports are facing a bit of damage, I believe. Actually, no, they're looking to fire shots off, and maybe that sometimes just missed out. But yeah, SEEKORG, their position right now isn't bad, but I fear because it's in the open and it's not a compound, that if you look to fire off against an opponent, that you're actually more going to expose your position as opposed to actually give yourself an advantage. Philu is a little bit away from his team, but they do have that little bit of building that they can retreat to should it need be. And ToxicPlayers, they have high ground, so, and they have kind of a bit more protection. So I actually think SEEKORG should not look to push this, as they do seem to be kind of backing off a little bit.
Almost 12 and a half minutes here into game number 4 of the day in the blue zone. About 5 seconds off from showing us that phase 3 shift, bringing us into the mid game of this match, telling us or giving us a better indication of where the landscape will be for the battles that are to ensue. Up towards the north we go, centered almost on top of Dexty of Toxic Esports, a little bit down to the south from him, but many teams have already held on to dominant positions inside of this circle, which means the rotations, the repositions that come from squads already inside and on the edges could be incredibly deadly, as a few squads look to already make those moves, one of them being Team Elite.
Yeah, so what I like what Team Elite are doing is they're actually waiting to move into the circle, still being in the blue zone, because what that does is it actually leaves yourself in a bit of a safer position, because teams don't expect you to really be going into the circle from the blue zone, right? Not as late as what Team Elite are doing, so that they're actually giving themselves a really strong chance. However, Enviik are taking shots from 3D Max. Could this be them going out earlier than they would like to after 2 great performances so far today?
Well, at least one of them is. I can guarantee you Robin's not going to be living to see another minute here in this map. But the question becomes, is Solar going to be giving up too much, trying to find the flush onto that member of Enviik? Spray comes out, powerful, able to at least find the crash coming in from Airwaves. Sadovnik going down and out, going to be leaving them 1 member down as they try to push off here. And this was a big kill. A scout onto this compound where Morpheus had pushed out to by his other powerful members. So very impactful for him to have picked that up.
It is, and he's going to be able to communicate that. It's going to be a place that they can potentially move out. It's going to be another angle of vision that Morpheus is going to be able to communicate with the rest of his team. Yes, they're a bit split up, but I really actually like where Powerful are located as a squad and what they're able to do with their vision. But as you're going to see on the edge of this circle, you see YMCA, MJ-Esports, Enviik, all trying to find a good position, all trying to find a bit of a high ground protection, and of course communicate enemy teams around them. But Futbolist and Tarlans Esports very close to each other. Nade's being flown out by Tarlan. It is a 3v2, Esquire.
Would love to see this engagement pop
Wait,
off.
actually, no.
Huge nade coming in. Genzo
Sorry.
cooks it perfectly and lands it right up on top of the head of Ermax. Is able to finish it off, though. But no, actually, the kill going to be stolen away. Trico with the SLR is able to pick up the kill. The beautiful nade is not going to able to be picked up and recognized by the members of Futbolist. Unfortunate to see there, as it does get evened out, though. Still to a 2v2, so not terrible. Just too bad you can't capitalize on one of the more perfect nades that you probably thrown here in the competitive matches.
But what that kind of does is that actually gives good communication to Futbolist that they can't push Tarlan because Elgiganten are within their vision. So actually stealing that kill away is actually a good thing for Futbolist, in my opinion. They do have circle. They don't necessarily need to move too far. They don't want to move too far. It's going to be a bit of a standstill for now. Maybe until Elgiganten get distracted by another area of the map. They do have center circle, but the teams are going to have to move in. Of course, are Enviik, 4 Kings, and 3D Max.
Listen, you steal a kill away from my team. If I'm a player or a coach, I am pissed. But with that hard shift coming out to the northeast, Powerful is going to be facing off with the squad trying to have a powerful position on the northern side of things. And that's going to be it. Airwaves wiped down and out. They're losing members left and right. Still seem to have one alive somewhere on the map, but did lose a significant amount of their force in doing so. That is going to be their last player alive down to the warehouse just off of the hillside to the southeast of where the likes of Team Elite look to try to crash up on top of Powerful. This is an interesting compound, Imperium. We've seen some pretty monumental crashes onto it before throughout PUBG competitive in a few different regions, but it becomes increasingly difficult if the members of Powerful do allow Team Elite to breach into the walls. If they keep them at bay on the edges, on the sort of bases of this hillside, it's going to be all right. But as soon as Team Elite comes in, it's all over, and that's going to be the first kickoff. Wago going to be finding the frag on to Dexty. Some shots coming out as well here in this compound. And nades, this is what you need. Nade pressure to push off what is coming. Sure. And they know exactly where the members of Team Elite are going to be pushing off of that northeastern corner. And this is the other thing. Look at the mini-map. CRIPS, they're going to be rolling down here. They're going to pinch the members of that squad, Team Elite, very heavily.
Yeah, so now Futbolist have kind of realized they have a little bit more freedom in their side. They're going to be able to push Tarlans right now, and that's exactly what they are doing. Moonlight, he's feeling the heat. Pre-fire, fantastically executed, but it's not enough. And Tarlan gets eliminated in 12th position.
Out they go. Futbolists get to hold on, at least in this game. 11 teams left, 33 alive, as we are about 2 minutes away from the 20-minute mark of these Miramar games, that boiling point where teams really start to just drop like flies left and right. Team Elite very now aware of a presence behind them as the 4-man squad of the Crips start to approach from down the hillside, spreading out into a bit of a firing line. Grenades will start to fly as Mr. Awada swaps over to the DMR to try to get those long-range shots. Nothing so far, as out in the open, Metabee going to be spotting out one, able to find the knock and the flush, kicking off this engagement.
Considering how pinched Team Elite are, that was a great play by CRIPS E-Sports, and the fact that they have low ground, that shouldn't really be happening in my eyes, but they're still taking full advantage of it. Of course, as I said, Elite have to be careful because they do have Powerful up on top of the hill. The grenades are being thrown out. Pobax gets put down to low health. We're seeing Metabee once again getting another knockdown. Great play coming out from CRIPS E-Sports. Going to look for that wipe.
There's going to be one left.
One member left, yeah.
And it's going to be Abdullah, I believe, over on the other side of the hill, not really even providing support to his teammates as we kick it on over here. Well, they're going to be spotted out, and out of the game they go. Norkies with the grenade for Powerful is able to find their ending frag. On the 11th they go. SEEKORG quickly dropped thereafter in 10th place position as the next shift comes out over towards the west off of the previous circle central point we go. Morpheus having locked down a compound for his team of Powerful as they quickly depart that compound that just gave them a few kills and recenter up. Crips going to be working off the northeast. Will be good for them. Elgiganten, a severe threat, though, down here on the south.
Yeah, Elgiganten once again have a great position. They have circle, they have high ground, they have compound. They're going to be able to spot out teams around them. They're just going to wait. However, one fear is that they are potentially going to be somewhat pinched by shots from teams around them, most notably 4 Kings and Futbolist, but they have to move into the circle, Esquire.
Certainly have to do something here. Elgiganten stands in a very good position to put out pressure shots onto everyone trying to enter in off of the southern side. Starting to see that push come out, as well as the shots from Elgiganten onto the likes of the Four Kings, not able to find the connections. ToxicPlayers trying to at least make their own push up here into the north of the circle, where 3D Max holds on with at least 2 members, Noki and Solar, alive, trying to push off any type of the pressure that could be coming from this flank. But the question becomes, will they be able to do it? Nades being prepped by Happy, trying to zone off some of the locations where 3D Max could be holding. Nades will not be landing in good positions, but you gotta throw them.
They have to push in because they're outside the circle. They have to do something. But CRIPS Esports, they're looking to join in on the fun. They would have heard the shots, and we're seeing Happy being knocked down by June. Great job by CRIPS.
CRIPS going to be continuing to swarm and claim the northern side of the zone as their own. Airwaves wiped down and out to the blue zone. A mistake from Mackin, or possibly a point deny. Weren't able to see it. He was the remaining player of that squad that was able to survive that transition previously, as Futbolists are able to continue on here from the northeastern side. I'm going to guess that was a point deny based off the position of the Futbolists. Blue zone closing in, though. And as you mentioned previously in the day, Imperium, at this stage of the match, the blue zone is not insignificant whatsoever. You don't want to be taking combo damage of shots to your front side and blue zone to your back side. This position, though, for Enviik could be interesting on the southwestern side of the circle. Shaq on the hillside will be giving them the high ground position atop the Four Kings. But if they get shifted out in phase number 6 across a wide open area, they will have to trek.
Well, it's all going to come down to what this next circle is going to produce. Is it going to shift northwards? Is it going to shift southwards? Is it going to shift to the east or the west? That is really going to dictate where these teams are going to look to move, and it's ever so important. It's nothing really they can do. Just look to take out their opponents while they have the chance, as Solar gets knocked down by 3D Max in a distance. So that's putting 3D Max down to 1 player for now. As this shift did move up northwards, Enviik are under pressure. They have to try and push Four Kings, but it's a 2-man team against a 3-man team, so it's going to be tough.
Powerful's rotation from the previous compound in phase number 5 pays off in spades as they find themselves in the center of phase number 6. Futbolists trying to push off against the gatekeeping position currently held by the members of CRIPS on the northern side of the circle. But CRIPS need to be careful as well. There's a solo player that could be a huge thorn in the side of the CRIPS if they push too far into Sammy Toxic. The SLR with the 8 times is prepped and ready, but he has to have the right opportunity to be able to capitalize on the nuck and find the flush. Moving on here, 8 teams left. Placement points secured for all 8 remaining teams. At least one, as Powerful starts to at least take their first casualties of the game. Trico from Elgiganten going to be finding a knock.
Yeah, Elgiganten once again looking so strong, having the circle on their side. They have 4 Kings around them. They have Powerful. They have, of course, 3D. But Enviik, right now, who we are on, they got the revive, so they're still a 2-man team, as the Futbolists do. But 4 Kings know where Enviik are, and they have to kind of cross the road. It's going to be tough for Enviik right now. However, Savage knocks down Genzo. Futbolists once again under pressure.
Powerful still not able to pick the res up onto Morpheus. They had to lay down a bit of a smoke wall here, deploy some of their utility to safely reunite with their fallen teammate. Res will be coming out. They're likely going to be able to at least keep this member of their squad up and alive as Elgiganten seeks to try to at least collapse in and on this compound. Again, one of the more powerful compounds here inside of the circle.
Sorry, Esquire, look what Sammy was trying to do in the minimap. He was trying to get that squad wipe on the CRIPS Esports, and he kind of helped Futbolists get that job done. My humble apology, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that was
absolutely. That was
overall,
that was a hell of a play worth cutting off anything for. It's too bad it was in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, because that was, wow, quite an effort coming out of that squad of the ToxicPlayers, certainly being toxic as a solo player. 5 teams remain, 14 players alive, as Genzo and 2 other players of this Futbolist squad try to stake their claim, at least even more so dominantly than already held, to the northern side of the circle. 15 seconds left until that phase 7 shift will come out. And surely, Imperium, we're going to have to see a reposition come out from one of these teams, Elgiganten or Powerful, out of the compound.
I feel like it's actually going to be Futbolists that are going to have to reposition. I called it. I said it. Elgiganten The PUBG map gods are once again in their favor. However, Trico has been knocked down because the nades, the small area that they have to play with, Powerful are doing their best to try and push them out of it.
And Hugstar gets flushed, so Trico bleeding out. 2 left on their feet for the members of Elgiganten. Savage and Nellas now resorting to whatever pressure they can throw out into the direction of Powerful, because the play for Powerful right now should have been to push back into the compound where Elgiganten is and taking control of it. The only thing, though, the reason why I respect Powerful not doing it is because of the position in this circle. They know that teams are on the hillside above them. They know that it would be a wide open push. 3D Max going to be connected on by a huge game-ending grenade coming out of Higgy. 4 teams left, 12 players alive. 3 alive for Powerful, 3 alive for Elgiganten, as the 4 Kings hold on to 2. It's a 3v3v3v2. This is a good ending. This is a great way to end out the day, Imperium, to set the pace for tomorrow.
Yeah, Elgiganten looking strong, Powerful, needing a good result, and they're putting themselves in a position to get that result. Futbolist as well, who did compete in the Contenders Phase 2, but didn't quite qualify for the finals. They're looking to get back into it. They're looking to get into the top 8 in this Stage 1 so they can move on to Stage 2. Great grenade coming out, putting Genzo under pressure.
Push now coming out. Higgy trying to clear out some of his flanks along this northwestern side of phase number 7. One tap will try to come out and connect, but will not be able to find it. Into the prone position he goes, using a bit of defilade. But when you do this, you open yourself to not being able to quickly retreat back up of a frag grenade that lands on top of your head. That could be good on a Gluttony. No, it's not going to be good just yet. Shots come in. Manny going to be tagged down to about 20% HP, but that's going to be a member of Futbolist. Spotted out. Spray comes in. A full mag going to be deployed there, but not going to be able to find the fatal connection as Phosphor gets dropped down and out. That's 2 down currently for the 4 Kings.
That's going to be a third one down.
Oh,
that's going to be a third one down.
And that's going to be all 4 Kings no longer in the match. 3 remaining as Futbolists look to try to stake a big claim here in this game. 1 alive, high ground position currently held over the likes of Elgiganten and Powerful. Elgiganten having another knock now. Trico going down, able to at least have the cover for Nellas to retreat back to the southern side of their own building to stick the Res Blue Zone on their back. It's essentially Powerful pinched in between these 2 squads.
Now, who's going to make the call? Who's going to make the rush? Who's going to start throwing the grenades? Because these teams know, especially Futbolists, they know that the final 2 teams are occupying those compounds. Of course, the compound that does matter is the one that's occupied by Powerful. The advantage is that they have essentially a full squad available.
Yeah.
But the negative is that they're getting pinched right now.
So this is also something that you have to look at in this situation. This is something that Elgiganten is recognizing right here. Phase 8, the landscape of the final circle of the game coming up next in phase number 9. The collapse of the blue zone is set. You've got to be as center as possible. Elgiganten trying to bomb their vehicles into the center to create a car fort. Lost so much in the process. The members of Futbolist, they're in a position to wipe out everyone down to their south, and recognizing that, Powerful going to be aggressively pushing up the hill. They can't sit back and let time try to work for them. It will only work against them as the flank comes out. Ghostar trying to spawn out Gluttony, might have the opportunity to do so. 1 frag going to be coming out with a Scar headshot, looking for the second one, is going to be able to find it. 1 left here for Futbolists to go down, for Powerful to claim their victory here almost, as Trico is going to be climbing up the hill as well. The third party comes in. Trico going to be trying to tag down Powerful, is able to find it onto Norkies. It's just going to be Marcelik and I believe Ghostar on their feet right now. A 2v1 with one of the members of Powerful bleeding out. Trico tagged down and out. Marcelik finds the game-winning kill to end game number 4 of the day, game number 8 of Stage 1 PEL Contenders Promotions for phase number 3. Huge win coming out for those guys.
But I also want to talk about what they did was so perfectly executed by Powerful. They had the compound in the circle, yeah? So they didn't technically have to move. But the second they saw the kill feed go over where Futbolists were getting the knockdowns onto the side of Elgiganten, what that told Powerful was that they could actually push Futbolists forward because they didn't have to worry about what was going on behind them. And Futbolists were already kind of distracted. And that's exactly what they did. They got the squad wipe on the Futbolists, and it came down to those two teams. Great control. Like when we talk about these games, we talk about like putting the destiny in your own control, right? Putting it in your own hands, and that's exactly what Powerful did, and it was beautifully executed.
Right, and that's what separates the wheat from the chaff here in these PUBG competitive games. Had the members of Powerful sat down in this position with the hillside held by the members of Futbolist, sure, they could have taken care of Trico. They ended up getting pushed by Powerful, but had they set back Powerful and let the members of Futbolist wipe out Elgiganten, it would have been the exact same story for Powerful. All the members of Futbolist had to do was peek over the hill. The centralized position was held by them. And what a dominant performance. I mean, that's got to strike the fear in your opponents moving into day number 3 tomorrow, where 4 more matches of PUBG will be played out. Myself and Imperium will be right back here to commentate the action for you. And so before we depart, I'm going to give a big shout out to you guys here in chat for joining us. This has been an exciting set of games over the last 2 days, and we've got 2 more days to play out.
Yeah, and also especially after the technical issues from yesterday, let's not talk about it. But thank you very much for just kind of joining in on the fun. Yeah, I know, but look, I'd like to acknowledge it without actually talking about it, if that makes sense. But yeah, great for everybody just to tune in and of course support the action, support these teams. But talking about supporting, this is match 8 from 16th to 9th. Elite. Even though they finished in 9th, they still got 4 kills. 3 teams, unfortunately, actually ending the day with a 0-point last game. That is Airwaves, Tarlans, and Why Not. Istanbul Wildcats getting 2 points for their side. SEEKORG getting 3. So definitely not a good way to end for the likes of Why Not, Tarlan, and Airwaves. But we look at the top 8 of game 4 today, Esquire.
Seems like about the 20-point mark is the cutoff here for the first place team. 19 points going to be taken down by Powerful. 9 kills. Combo that with the 10 points off of that first place finish is going to be very good for them, but also good for Futbolist, who find themselves at least in a position to climb up the leaderboards. A much-needed 14-point pickup in the 4th and final game of the day. And then Elgiganten, again, keeping that consistency up. If they can continue to put up, 9 points, that's a good game. If they can continue to even put up 5-point games for the rest of these 8 matches to be played out on Wednesday and Thursday, well, they're going to be going on. There's no way in hell, Imperium, that I see them dropping out.
Yeah, consistency. Absolute fantastic consistency coming out from Elgiganten overall in the first 2 days. But look at the kill feed from this first day. I did want to mention ToxicPlayers because they got a great amount of kills. And Sammy Toxic with 5 kills, followed by Marcelic and Sampula.
Yeah, very good set of kills coming out from these teams here today. 6 kills is going to be the tied record on day number 2 of the Stage 1 tournament. Unfortunately, no one here in game number 4 was able to beat that out, but huge performance, huge efforts coming out from teams trying to do just that. But there it is, big damage coming out from Hueth, I believe. I hope I'm not butchering that. A Futbolist. I will try to get that right next time. But 1,029 damage is absolutely monumental. So unfortunate that they weren't able to clutch that chicken dinner at the end of the game. But again, the points that they were able to pull off were huge.
It was a great game for Futbolist and Powerful to gather the head-to-head stats, 9 kills apiece, 2,065 damage from Futbolist. That shows how aggressive, how calculated, and how just forward-thinking they were in that game. And just as you could say unfortunate, but Powerful, they took control of that game at the end, as I talked about, and came out on top. So great play by both teams.
Yeah, both teams being big showboats, I guess, in this game, really showcasing their skills as squads. And again, other teams are watching. There are teams that aren't playing yet that have already secured their spots, essentially, in stage number 2 of this tournament that are scouting out their competition. So make no mistake about it, there are a lot of players watching for enjoyment, for competition, for whatever. But Marcelic coming up huge right there. Let's take a look, though, at the total points here on the day. 1st through 16th, coming out of stage number 1. Where you want to be at the end of day 4 on Thursday is on the left-hand side. Top 8 get to move on to stage number 2. And 9th through 16th, well, back to the drawing board for you guys.
And also, just to throw a bit of a devil's advocate out there, is that like the players are looking to, even the players that are on the teams that are not like on top of the leaderboard, they're still looking to impress the teams that are already in contenders, that they could get a bit of a switch to that team on phase 3. So
That's right.
they're always looking to impress teams around them. They're looking to make an impact, and that's exactly what can drive their team going forward. But yeah, great end to the day. Great games overall. Some surprising ends, of course, but gotta say, impressed with the likes of Enviik, 3D Max, and Elgiganten in today's games.
Certainly. Roster Royale going to be kicking off here after the GLL Classic in just a week or so's time. So going to be a very, very crazy set of weeks for all regions around the globe as everyone starts to prepare for phase number 3. But as we do that here for the PEL, we've got 2 more days of stage number 1 coming up here on Wednesday and Thursday, and then stage 2 kicks off thereafter, and then the PEL promotions, where some of the top contenders teams will be facing off against the bottom 4 teams out of the PEL phase 2 to see who's going to be moving on up to the big stage, the big arena in Berlin, Germany. That's going to be all she wrote here for the matches today. Myself and Imperium, thank you guys so much for joining us for the matches, and make sure to tune in the exact same time tomorrow, exact same place, exact same teams, and hopefully the same spicy performances.